looking at a vision of grace.
We're on a mission to force the opposition to change course. We're looking to Jesus, better believe it's the holy force will prevail even if we fail. Just get up. Jesus died for you, our souls are not for sales, not for jails, not for spiritual fairy tales. The price was paid through blood with tears and nails. Diamonds and gold and riches, it's not even a taste. It's not even a fraction of a vision of grace.
Vision of Grace is sponsored by
Dr. LaCara Jordan, Family Dentistry. Sponsored by Super Cool Fashions, Menswear.
Sponsored by The New Table is Bread, Airline Highway.
Julian CNA Training School.
Vision of Grace in the studios of Hertzock Entertainment. Inspiring gospel, inspirational.
With your host, homegrown from Baton Rouge, Brian Hertzock.
Brian Hertzock.
It's Vision of Grace Live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of Vision of Grace Live. I'm your host for today's show, Brian Hertzock, as usual. In studio today, we've got a very special guest, one of our first actual interviewers for Vision of Grace Live, and his name is Henry Stewart. And by the way, that's who you're listening to right now, is Henry Stewart. And we've got him live in studio, so make sure you stay tuned because we're going to be back with more amazing gospel tracks and interviews in just a moment.
Inspiring gospel, inspirational.
With your host, homegrown from Baton Rouge, Brian Hertzock.
Brian Hertzock.
It's Vision of Grace Live. The largest inventory of suits and accessories. Personalized customer service, whether it's praising on Sundays or the business board meeting on Wednesdays. Don't just settle for cool. You find Super Cool. Sponsored by Super Cool Fashions, Menswear.
Welcome home to the New Table is Bread. The very best soul food, seafood, steaks, and pasta in Baton Rouge.
Come over here. Where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord. Yeah, come over here. Where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord.
Welcome home to the New Table is Bread.
Sponsored by Super Cool Fashions, Menswear. Sponsored by Get certified in only 3 weeks at Julian CNA Training School.
Vision of Grace in the studios of Hertzock Entertainment, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Inspiring gospel, inspirational.
With your host, homegrown from Baton Rouge, Brian Hertzock.
Brian Hertzock.
It's Vision of Grace Live. Mr. Henry Stewart himself live in studio. Welcome to this edition of Vision of Grace Live, sir.
Hey, man, it's good to be here, Brother Hertzock.
Oh, man. You notice a difference in here since, when was it? Well, you know, by the way, do you know how long it's been since you've been on this show?
Actually, how long, Brother Hertzock? I forgot time. Just
give me a guess.
Maybe 2-3 years?
Come on now.
4.
Are you serious?
It's been a while. I can't remember. I'm being honest.
You were on this show 8 years ago.
Wow. It's been that long, brother. Wow. It feel like yesterday.
It was 8 years ago.
Wow.
8 years ago, you were on this show. You were the very first artist interviewed on Vision of Grace Live.
I can't believe
it was Vision of Grace then. Just
Vision of Grace, exactly.
But same TV show, same program.
8 years ago. That's hard to believe.
That's why I wanted to see what you
That's hard to believe. Feel like just yesterday, really.
8 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
So 8 years ago, people listening to tracks like this.
Yeah.
Must be the fire.
Making tracks like that 8 years ago.
8 years.
I'm anxious.
Yes.
I'm anxious to know what you're doing right now.
Wow.
That's what I'm anxious.
Wow. Well, we still in process, brother. I've been praying and seeking God about some new music and what He want me to do, what direction He want me to take. So we coming out. God been giving me songs in my sleep. I pray, and just trust Him, because I've been doing things, on my own. sometimes, and that's what I want to encourage the listeners and the viewers. Don't do it on your own. Trust the Lord, and He gonna give you, yes,
right.
He will give you what He wants. Be it in a night vision, be it in a song, be it in somebody's words or what have you. Right. But God has been speaking to me, and I've just been writing, and we're coming out with a new project, I believe, in the near future.
Sponsored by Super Cool Fashions Menswear. The largest inventory of suits and accessories. Personalized customer service, whether it's praising on Sundays or the business board meeting on Wednesdays. Don't just settle for cool. You find Super Cool. Sponsored by Super Cool Fashions Menswear. Sponsored by Dr. LaCara Jordan. Family Dentistry, Comfort, Dental Studio, and Spa. Welcome home to the new Table is Bread. The very best soul food, seafood, steaks, and pasta in Baton Rouge.
Come over here, where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord. Yeah, come over here, where the table is spread, and the feast of the Lord.
Welcome home to the new Table is Bread. Sponsored by Super Cool Fashions Menswear.
Check out Brian Hertzock on Baton Rouge's biggest and most effective way to brand businesses, BRB Network TV.
BRB Network TV. Sponsored by the new Table is Bread, Airline Highway. Sponsored by Get certified in only 3 weeks at Julian CNA Training School.
Vision of Grace in the studios of Hertzock Entertainment, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Inspiring gospel, inspirational.
With your host, homegrown from Baton Rouge, Brian Hertzock.
Brian Hertzock.
It's Vision of Grace Live. You're checking it out right here on Vision of Grace Live. I've got a very special guest in studio, Mr. Henry Stewart himself. And I like to call him an artist, but I like to call him an artist and director and everything, because I know that you work with kids, you work with all kinds of different I guess I know you for working with the kids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you do that.
Yes, sir. Did youth ministry for over 15 years. At different churches.
Right.
Currently, I'm doing stuff with the kids, writing plays. We do dramas. We travel all over, man. We just do it, you know.
Right. What was it that drove you into the working with the kids that way? Because
with the kids,
it looks like a passion. I've seen you work with these. I mean, it's kind of difficult sometimes to work with kids, so you have to have a talent.
Well, you have to
do that.
You have to have a talent and a gift from God as well, you know.
Right.
But I started youth ministry probably when I was 16, 17 with my nieces and nephews. Okay. That's where my ministry actually began.
Right.
And God just moved it on into the church arena.
Right.
And I've been working with over hundreds of kids, taking them on trips, vacation, Las Vegas, Kentucky, all for the ministry, all for the sake of the gospel.
Wow. You know, I think to what you've been doing with these kids, and I've seen, this is my brain. I'm going all the way back to Vision of Grace 1 year anniversary.
Wow. Yeah.
And back then, you performed.
Yes.
And the kids performed.
They sure did.
We had Timothy Britton.
Yes.
And Shabak.
Oh, man,
we had,
it was awesome.
Patrice Wilson.
Patrice.
And, we had a lot of artists. We had a great lineup.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's where I remember those kids.
Yeah, I brought a small group out, and they danced, they sang, and they blessed the people.
Right.
But actually now they still doing the same thing, but into my ministry, we just bringing it out, to the masses.
Right.
Now we doing videos as well.
Wow.
So I'm pushing them off into their ministries, and they ministering to you. So I'm pretty much overseer right now.
Wow. Wow. Now, so you, I mean, it's a whole thing. It's not just dancing. You're just really encompassing this youth in a lot of different areas of entertainment.
Yes, sir. Youth in action. Whatever the gift or whatever the talent is, we're finding, we're bringing it out of the kids, and we just use it for the sake of the gospel, use it for God, for His glory.
Right. Amazing. Now, I know for a fact that there is I knew at one time there was a huge following.
Yes, sir.
Of Henry Stewart. Because, I know it was one particular event I had you perform. I'm not going to bring it up right now. I just don't want to bring it up. But that one particular event that you sung for me, and it was a personal favor you did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, look, I remember those. They had some of them older ladies was outside. Oh, that's him. That's Henry Stewart. That's Henry Stewart in there. That's right.
Amen.
And I never forget. I also had an uncle of mine. He was supposed to also sing during that event, and he didn't sing for some kind of reasons. And then when he saw you singing, he said, "Wait a minute, you got the man out there sing the record in there singing."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, that's him."
Yeah, they know me from that He Created Me video, brother. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Well, you made me look good that day.
Amen.
You made me look good.
It was an awesome event, bro. It was an awesome event. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was all good, man. It was all good, and you did an amazing performance. Speaking of performances, are you performing anywhere?
Well, actually, I've been doing little minor things, but because I told you I've been enclosed, just seeking God. I'm not trying to be out. A lot of people think I've gotten out of the gospel singing and let my kids do it, because I let them do most of the singing and dancing and stuff.
Right. Well, sometimes you gotta step in.
Sometimes you have to, let them
youngsters have their spot.
Let them have their spot. But in the meantime, I'm just sitting back. But I wrote a song for my next project. Back in the game. A lot of people think I got out of the game. It's not really a game. I'm just using that as a little scenario.
A little lingo.
It's just a little lingo. But actually,
most folks in the church, they came from out there too.
They came. They know. They understand. Yeah. But watch out for the song "Back in the Game." No, I'm
back in the game.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Back in it. A lot of people think I've gotten out, but I haven't.
Right.
I'm here for the long haul.
So you got some bigger and better plans, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
That's
Yes.
That's right.
Can't reveal them just yet, but I will be in the future.
Gospel, inspirational, with your host, homegrown from Baton Rouge, Brian Hertzock.
Brian Hertzock.
It's Vision of Grace Live.